Relly and Teach ready to preach, everybody. And Teach, I am so glad to see you after Case of Mondays. How we doing?
It is another Monday. That is for damn sure.
To say the least, I hope that these elephants actually bring me a little bit of luck and calm. And well, this shirt's actually got a lot of meaning, so happy we're here. But to say the least, I thought it was going to be another slow news Tuesday, but we were wrong. So as far as I'm concerned, there's a couple of things that have been circulating. One subject I wanted to bring back up uh, this week, but we kind of we ran out of time last week. I'm sorry. Uh, so Dubby energy drink. I want to say a week and a half ago. I was just going through TikTok. I really do, but I stumbled upon. I literally checked one video, swiped down, and I found myself in one of Dubby's live streams. I was one of like 40 people. And I actually commented in there and just to see what it is. Now, there was a couple of things that kind of alarmed me. So, I mean, there's certain things I understand. Like, for instance, he was asking people about flavors and he was writing them down on some little notepad. Things like blueberry pomegranate, stuff like that, which who knows what they'll actually produce. And again, I've never hated the W formula. I had their 3 flavors, 2 of them I don't care for. But the other stuff I'd be down to try for if it was easy to get samples, I guess. Because right now you can only get like 4 of them. But a couple of things worth mentioning. He thought blueberry as a flavor wasn't good enough on its own. He thinks it had to be mixed with something, which I'm like, okay, buddy, come on. As you can imagine, Teach, I was kind of ticked by that. Just an unbiased in that kind of way. Then it all started with, then he's like, oh, small business, a small game shop buying 10 tubs, working for it with not a lot of product. I'm not sure if it's worth the time. So basically, you kind of say you don't like small business, which that sucks for anybody, especially since we're a starter company. Hypocrite. And here's the part where you're going to laugh, Teach. This is when he started talking about a Dubby Energy having essentially an energy drink committee.
What the fuck does that even mean?
So, it gets better. So essentially, right now, I have no idea how G Fuel works, how Glytch works, how Juju works, but imagine if you want to release a flavor.
Mm-hmm.
There's a process of how a flavor goes. And we've talked to a couple CEOs. We've talked to a couple people that have been affiliated with companies, and they're just like, hey, I'm just happy the way it goes. And some people like commenting on it more than others. Some people are satisfied. Some people want opportunities, yada, yada, yada. But essentially, their thought is the energy drink committee with a certain Discord, basically only a certain amount of people involved in. At this point, I'm kind of thinking, okay, what is this? Like the Freemasons or like the Rotary Club? But then it was, if you want to get in, you have to own 5 W tubs. And at that point, I'm like, okay, man, really? It's essentially a fraternity. Do 3 tasks and you're in. Like, come on.
It sounds like a silly little club that they want to do.
That's exactly what I'm referring to. So a committee is basically a bullshit fraternity club. Nonsense.
What's their point of this?
Essentially, if you have bought, well, at least, now granted, this is the owner that goes on TikTok and all that. And granted, he was adding people to people's orders, so he says.
Not like stuff. What's the requirements, but what is the point? What are they trying to gain? What is the benefits?
Basically, in his opinion, if you've owned 5 tubs of Dubby, and his thought is hey, you've bought 5 different flavors, regardless of what flavor they are. And that means you help decide what flavor comes out next. and you buy this. It's essentially a marketing tactic. Instead of hiring people to figure this out, you have these people that are just, I assume, a bunch of fanboys to figure it out together as a whole and vote on it. I don't know. It just made me, I just kind of laughed, really. We know how Dubby is. They're just a gimmick. Again, formula, I can't disagree on the formula. However, I could frown upon the business practices. And this is just another one where I go, you could scratch your ass. I mean, I'm glad that he actually mentioned me, and I'm like, well, there's like 40 or 50 people in this live stream, and he actually referred to me as caffeinated. But yeah, we'll see how this all goes going forward. Although if there's any, they're not afraid of leaks too much because there have been many leaks before, not shocking. But yeah.
Now, mind you, followers aren't necessarily everything. They do prove in some way a good extent, but they are not everything on a social media account. Mind you, I've always found Dubby to be a joke. But you've even had a brand that came out after Dubby and has already done better, and we haven't reviewed anything by them. We've only had one follower ever bring that up. And
which brand?
Poggers.
Isn't there a certain streamer behind that?
I have no idea, but it's a little brand that just basically took Pepe and ripped it and made it into an energy drink, energy supplement.
I now that I remember. Now I remember bringing it up maybe once. I think we brought it up once, and it was many moons ago.
I think we brought it up once because a fan of the show, Eli, told us about him.
Yes, Eli. That's right. It's starting to circle back to me now. Anyways, good evening, everybody, and everybody in our live audience. You are beautiful and handsome. So, there's a lot of things I want to cover tonight. So, Teach, you pick Glytch Firefox sauce or the Hive Collector's Box 3.0.
Go Glytch.
All right. So, everybody, I can barely read this, but Kindred Nations, which is a hot sauce company, they did a collab with Glytch, which I was actually wondering how this all went. And before anyone thought, hey, what's this all about? And I was concerned on the flavor. This is lemon pepper. So, facts. So, I'm actually going to just read them off again for everybody. And these are all simple ingredients because I'm very surprised for a sauce in this day and age, no sugar, no corn syrup. Kind of rare to find these days. Ingredients listed below: lemon juice, lemon pepper salt, sea salt, peppercorn. It just says spices. I imagine there's like a secret spices recipe.
Probably like, KFC's secret spice, 8 secret hidden spices, whatever the hell it is.
The 7 secret spices, something. Butter flavoring and vinegar. No sugar.
Also, Bri, you're not necessarily behind. We started 15 minutes late.
Just to be fair. We've been going for 9.5 minutes just about. So, I thought, what's the best? Now, I've always been kind of uncomfortable doing this in front of a microphone. And this goes back to guys complain about a guy eating back during... I think it even goes back as far as Call of Duty Xbox 360 lobbies. Oh my God, the poor bastards that are just trying to have Doritos and chill.
Yeah, but back then you also had terrible microphones that were picking up every single crunch, and the dudes were putting their microphones in their mouth while they were crunching, and they were eating their mic while eating their food, and that's why it's like, dude, just mute your mic.
I'll just say this: if we enforced it now like we did back then, there would be a lot of felons. Let's just put it that way. Juicy sauce. Come on, damn it. Come on, damn it. I'm trying to not get all over the place.
It takes a little bit, probably get it comfortable. Let a little bit out of the bottle.
Whoa.
Got a little bite to it.
Very vinegar forward. Very vinegar forward.
I say now, I did not pick up a bottle. I probably should have.
So the reason why I thought this would be a good try is because, so first off, the flavor itself. Now, some people are wondering now, I'm not sure if this was Ben from Glytch that chose this or not, but my thought is lemon pepper is a Southern thing. So I know he's a Floridian, so that was just my guess. I'm just going to give this another shake and try this again, just so I can imagine this should be very good on a certain wing. Like maybe there's just, I don't know, is it too much vinegar? Does it need to be cooked up, brushed on the meat before you cook it? I don't know. I just like trying this with something as basic as a chip because the chip comes out the same every single time. And I don't want to be like one of those people that just takes a spoon and goes for it because I know a guy that did that. And let's just say the least, he had himself a very fiery Christmas. Like I said, very vinegar forward. Not spicy. It's just a huge kick of vinegar. But I can imagine. I want to try that on maybe like. I want to try that on some chicken before you put in the oven to get a good final result. So, grading so far, I'm gonna just say incomplete. And if you follow us on Twitter, you will get an update before I go back and announce my thoughts on the show. I'm going to mess around with this. I'm going to try this on a burger. I'm going to try this on some chicken, some roast beef, some chicken, a pizza.
Now, mind you, there is no caffeine in it. So Relly's just trying it out of fun. There is no caffeine in it for reference, even though it was a collab with Glytch.
So I thought it was a fun point to bring up because, hey man, Texo, what's happening, man? So my thought is because we've seen people cook with G Fuel, Armad Thai. He's mixed, it was Sonic chili dogs and with a pizza. If you remember.
I do actually remember that.
And there's one big guy who's partnered with Juju. He's a chef and he's done a lot with Juju powder. Maybe got to ask him to see if he's got some time on the show. So into the next segment, I found this very odd. And so this was really just a last minute purchase. And there was only apparently like a certain window for it. But your boy got his first G Fuel collector's box in quite some time. The Hive 3.0. And the reason why I actually thought about this is because the metal shakers, the size of the box. So a lot of people are complaining about the size of the box because of the new shakers. It's probably, I want to say, an extra 2.5, 3 inches taller, which made a lot of collectors upset.
Yeah, because it didn't fit nicely within the other ones.
It makes it stick out a little bit.
Yep.
The sticker is sick.
So what? Same flavor, just new decal. Comes with a metal shaker.
Actually,
it's just now in hydration.
He did a hydration.
Yeah, and same flavor, right? Just in hydration.
Instead of just tangerine, I feel like I taste the honey a little bit more. This tastes like more of like a honey tangerine. But I'm actually very concerned about this. So we know that there's dyes in this now, unlike the old G Fuel. But this is actually the first hydration. And I actually think the first... I'm not sure if any of our G Fuel tubs have this. But I don't see a label on any G Fuel tub that says not suitable for anybody underneath the age of 18. Now, we have on this Ocean Potion tub, it does the warning about the P65, do not exceed recommended dose, not intended for a person with a medical condition, consult physician, do not use with high blood pressure or heart problems or contemplating becoming pregnant, not evaluated by the FDA, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. This one straight up says here, not intended for use by individuals under the age of 18. This is a hydration.
I don't think they really probably look at the labeling too much. They're just making sure the decal's right. They probably don't pay attention to the block a ton.
I got it. It's just that, for our content's sake, I thought it was a good point. So,
no, it is.
The reason why I actually found this is because there is a certain ingredient in here, and I've compared, and this ingredient is new to my knowledge, and that is inulin, not insulin. I actually had a discussion with Caffeinated alumni, and he is in medical, Christopher Stone. He's doing good. He's just busy as a bee, pun intended. So if you actually write it out, it's basically spelled like insulin without the S in there. So what I got on inulin, and that is the reason why I feel like this is an important thing to bring up. So granted, it does supposed to help gut health. So side effects. Now this is just a quick Google search. Doses of 8 to 18 grams daily have been used safely for up to 24 weeks. The most common side effects include gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and cramps. These side effects can be more severe if high doses of inulin more than 30 grams. But just remember, I don't know anything else on any of these tubs that say anything, oh, this is good between up to 24 weeks. Maybe that's why there's the new label on here, not underneath the age of 18 or intended to.
So what you're saying is that with this ingredient, you can only get about like X amount of time before the... So what's that compared to the actual expiration on there?
The expiration is August 2025. So, Mentexo, do me a favor. In the comments, could you please tell me a little bit about Wraith Energy? So, we're both Americans. So, we do keep in touch with as many energy drinks as we can on the market. I know Wraith is a UK company. If you can comment and tell us your favorite flavor, what it's all about. I'm actually curious from a customer perspective. So in my opinion, Teach, I have no idea what the hell they're doing here. I understand variation and everything, but I'm like, why would they do... Why would they do that?
So it says by you looking up on Google, the ingredient only lasts for 6 months.
It says safe to use in that dosage up to 24 weeks. So to me, this sounds like somebody with possibly a digestive problem, help handle diabetes. And I was talking about this with Chris Stone, and nothing alarming, but I'm just maybe I'm just overthinking, but I did try this, and to say the least, you know how Ghost Energy doesn't fit our liking, like it kind of like upsets our stomach a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't hit me the same as if I were to try Gamer Subs Hydration or G Fuel Hydration. Something about it. And I think it might be the inulin.
What do you mean doesn't hit you?
As in, it goes down smoothly. You don't feel anything going on in your stomach. This actually does... I tried this twice, and as far as bloating, it's not bullshit. maybe it doesn't agree with me, but now it's not enough to be uncomfortable, but maybe just a tick enough to make it feel annoying. Is it because maybe I freaking read it beforehand? I don't know. I just kind of went to it and I'm like, hey, let me have a shaker after this after dinner.
I mean, with bloating, you would still have noticed that either way, regardless of like being hyper fixated on the ingredient.
Yes. Ooh. What does a mojito flavored energy drink sound like, Teach?
Mint.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Mojitos are known to typically have mint.
Well, so are juleps. Mintex, so is there mint in that mojito drink? Asking for the both of us. Because just in our experience, maybe not bad. Definitely not for Teach. Me, I'm on the fence. Not sure if it's for me. Although there's a flavor concept that somebody did for G Fuel X Harry Potter. And for the Ravenclaw flavor, they wanted to do mint blueberry. And I go, hold the phone. Objection. No mint in my blueberry, damn it. Well, what are we doing?
Mint blueberry just sounds really weird.
Thank you. Thank you. It sounds like one of those berries from the trees that you have to tell kids not to pick up and eat. Oh my God, the pain. The pain. I've actually been looking into starter kits to just to sample and promote another company. Now, I actually remember Wraith when they were only having UK prices and they didn't have any, they weren't American branched yet. And as you can imagine, the shipping was outrageous. But yes. So moving on, Teach. Something we have not viewed yet because of us no longer being hardcore collectors. Behold. I gotta admit, though, this thing looks sick. And it's got the honeycomb pattern on it. You can see up close. It's got the honeycomb pattern.
That top is honestly like it. I hate that the outside ring is a nice gold and then the rest of it is just like a lighter gold, and it just looks so like mixed matchy. It doesn't look pleasing.
So to say the least, this has a gloss. You're absolutely right. This has a gloss. This has more of a matte finish. And this is a weird in between. So
they should have stayed with one or the other.
I agree. So we have not reviewed a G Fuel Melon Shaker on the show, so let's begin.
Now, is this supposed to be their updated one after they were having the constant like shaker issues with the metal ones?
So as far as I'm concerned, this was a pre-order in November that became early in the year, and I'm kind of
November last year.
It was a pre-order.
Yeah, you said November.
A November pre-order that actually, you know how G Fuel does the ship things in just a couple months. Like you pre-order November, get to you in like February. There's two different batches. The original pre-order was in November, and then there was more to be released early this year.
So did this come out last year then?
It wasn't, Brian. So I remember everyone getting them in their hands sometime this year.
I say, because we are not even in November.
Yes, I do mean the Gundam. The Gundam came with a metal shaker. But either way, as far as I'm concerned, now I'm going to get my ice shaker in just a moment. I believe it's in the other room. I got to double check that. I'm not positive. Actually, it might be in my car. Damn it. I don't even know where it is. But anyhow, metal, kind of standard. By any chance, do you have the first G Fuel shaker, the Hornet shaker?
I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure I threw that away. Yeah, I threw that away.
Really?
Yeah, because it had a cracked top.
The pain. But here's what I don't agree with here. If you remember the first G Fuel metal shaker, the Hornet colorway, the ring could be taken out, correct?
Yeah.
And it was top wash only.
Yeah, that's annoying.
So my thought is, right, you're going to have to soak the living hell out of this. Otherwise, this is going to become a mold magnet.
I was just actually going to say this, much as they want to, for the person out there that doesn't clean their shakers much, and for the guy that just leaves in his car for weeks at a time and doesn't wash it regularly, like, that is a mold magnet. That is going to be, like, someone's going to have mold stuck in there and continuously drink out of it and get sick.
Some poor bastard is going to get sick one winter, and he's going to have something going on in his lungs and shit because he's going to be drinking on mold on a daily basis. And here's the problem I have. And I'm just reviewing this for the first time with you, but let's see. Oh, yeah. I don't like that. Nope. Nope.
What's that?
If you ask me, compared to the ice shaker, this, and I see every one of them break in here on the seal. This plastic is way too soft.
Is it
way too soft.
Cheaper than their older stuff?
Let's see. G Fuel shaker somewhere. I think I got one here. Over there. Oh, actually, I got a Glytch shaker here. It should be the same thing. Let's see. I think this is kind of similar to the quality. It's just that I think that the part here is much deeper. You kind of see the depth perception?
Mm-hmm. But isn't
this,
that's how
this is,
isn't that how a
this
lot
is
of
deeper. I feel like it's just we have metal. Oh wait, no, actually. It is plastic. My thought is this plastic here on the tab and this plastic here are different. Why this is softer than this right here, I don't get. There's been so many problems with these metal shakers, and as I said before, early on in the year, these are a decoration until further notice. I'm just straight up not comfortable with these. Watch, in a month or two, there's going to be somebody asking if someone's got one of these for sale, and I might do it. I might keep it as a piece. I mean, I don't know why, man, but I'm not sure if it's because the seal is less deep or so, but how come there's never been much of a problem with these breaking, but I see a lot of the G Fuel metal shakers, their tops breaking?
Not sure. There's
something going on. And it seems like G Fuel, because, their customer service is shit, they're just like, you put it in the dishwasher wrong. Later.
Probably because it's the only fallback too.
It seems to be the answer for everything now, isn't it? To say the least, not bad. I mean, Bri, my thought is if you want to use the G Fuel Mill Shaker and give us feedback on it, this is on you, man. I'll just straight up say this. If it's something that you think is an important piece, I wouldn't. But if you're going to use it out of your own leisure, I'd rather have you do that than just experiment for us. Just guy to guy, man. We wouldn't want to, ruin the shelf or the collection for you, anything like that. Also, now Teach, you're a business guy, you're a streamer, and something to my case was actually brought up. So in a G Fuel, the buy and sell group, there's actually somebody about an hour away from me that was actually selling a Bind of Isaac G Fuel fridge, local pickup. And I'm thinking this is pretty cool, but then I'm kind of thinking to myself, right? Because I was watching one of Goblin's streams and she's real good at it. I enjoy when she plays it. Just one of those things. But what do you think as a game company, right? If you now obviously if you have an energy drink, you got your brand on it, you have the name on it. Now, of course, there's going to be paperwork, licensing. Do you think it's one of those things where you're waiting for them to be reached out to, or do you go to a company?
Depends on which way you're talking about.
Well, for example, right? Sega just purchased Rovio, the company that does Angry Birds. So there's some people that are actually predicting. Now, this is obviously just a reach, but if there would be an Angry Birds flavor.
I mean, there's many companies anybody could work with, per se. I mean, it's a very multi-layered question because it all depends on the products and the brands, and certain companies reach out to others first, and other are like, hey, we have X and Y audience, we want to collab. I mean, it's a multi-layered question. It can go back and forth.
So my thought is, now, this might sound shocking to some viewers, but I think it's pretty obvious between the Waifu Shakers and the recent anime collab, and since there's Crunchyroll involved now, Gamersupps has kind of deep pockets. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
So my thought is, let's say a game comes out, and I think Sega has, like, when it comes to like that Angry Birds flavor, since the Sega owned company, I think G Fuel probably has the first dibs, and maybe there's a contract thing going on. But let's say we go to an independent game. Let's just wing one. Deep Rock Galactic. I played it for a hot minute, I know. And yes, Boognass, the water is why the pizza's so good in New York. You know that's the case. But what would be the case for this game where if they want to do an energy drink flavor? Do they go out and reach for a company? Because I think it's pretty hard for a company to reach out to them and say, let's make a deal.
Again, it's probably multi-layer of who's reaching out to who. I couldn't give you an exact answer because it can go either way. There's a lot of big-time games out there that have never collaborated with any kind of energy supplement drink of any of the kinds.
Or have a collab, period. Like, when's the last time Mario collabed with anything?
Oh, I mean, you're touching a very spicy IP there because that's Nintendo, and they are very protective of their IP.
They are paranoid. Although, shout out to the original voice actor, who apparently is now no longer voicing any of the characters. He's been doing this for a long time, but he's still traveling the world, being part of the culture. Thank you for everything, my guy.
Yep. They saw how well Chris Pratt did in the movie, so now Chris Pratt's gonna be in all your video games. So
that's who's taking over, Chris Pratt?
No, I'm making the joke, because why the hell did they ever choose Chris Pratt to be the voice actor in that movie?
What? I don't know. Now, that's just my thought, Bri, because, I mean, I remember when G Fuel did polls a lot, like before the controversy came out, and everyone's like, what collab would you like to see? And what was the big one on there? The two big ones on there every single time? Mario and Pokemon.
Good luck, buddy.
I mean, I'll just kind of say it at this point. Good luck. I agree. Although, I've kind of like dove into all this, and it's amazing how much. I have no idea the exact amount, but I'm starting to think that there's a lot of these energy drink companies that have money. It's just a matter of who's going to throw out the offer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Alani threw out a offer to Kim Kardashian, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure C4 has a decent amount of money. I think it'll be sometime soon where Rise might do something.
I mean, a lot of it, again, it comes down to a multi-layer of who's asking who. Not There isn't an exact answer to that because it could probably work both ways. But I think the biggest thing that each company has to remember, which you got to remember about these collabs, is the ROI, the return on investment.
Yes, indeed. I mean, people are marketable, and sometimes it might just be like, heck, there's actually some people that put their name, that have a product out, but they don't put their name on it. Like a different industry, and we don't talk liquor, but I was actually listening to a podcast. It's a Las Vegas based podcast, and you know, the culture, the businesses. And have you watched Bar Rescue by any chance?
Yep.
John Taffer was on, and oh my God, what a freaking hoot that was. What an absolute freaking thrill it was. And he talks about, how it all works, how it's not reality, non-scripted, but he also dives into certain things like apparently he tried brown butter in bourbon, put it in the fridge, and they tried it, and now they artificially flavor it because of no dairy. So instead of him putting his face on a bottle, he said there's a lot of celebrities that put their face on a bottle of whatever, but there's so many of them that don't get their money back. There's a lot of companies that lose out on it. So instead of his name, and he said that ever since COVID hit, that it was hard to get glass, and Mexico picked up the glass industry, everything else. But instead of putting his name on it, it's just called Taffers. And if his face isn't on it, that could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing could go with any of these energy drinks. Like, I've seen shoes made without the person's name on it. Like, what would happen if you saw a streamer, they had an iced tea flavor? It's their flavor, but their name's not on it. Not sure if it's marketable, not marketable.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's probably nice to have your name on it, but not everything is going to straight up probably have names on it. You want probably like hey, this is the name of the actual flavor because it identifies the flavor profile, and then, hey, inspired by said person.
It's actually kind of funny. You know who, and he is an alumni, but is it me? I'm not sure how much you keep track, but I feel like Shock's flavor, where some people think it's good the way it is, and some people think overhyped. The only reason anyone bought it is because his name's on it.
I mean, I'll be fair on that one. When we had Shock in the show, it was a pleasure. We never thought we would get him on, and that was the absolute last product I'd ever bought from them to support Shock. And I don't think that flavor is overhyped. I respect Shock really throwing his neck out there and being like, look, guys, I don't want any dyes to this product, because he really cared about that. I even straight up said to him, you can go back to the episode, and I think you and I both agreed on this, and I think a lot of people could agree on it, but it was just very mango forward. There was very little lemon/lemonade to it.
In my opinion, it is mango lemon zest. So, as far as my rating, 4.5 stars. Now, some people think it might be too light. Now, me personally, one flavor I think is very light is the Mega Man. Where my personal opinion, you want like a scoop and a third to have it taste like it's supposed to. So how come Mega Man has the hype where it's one of the best flavors made, but yet Shocks, you're telling me you can't put just a little bit more of a healthier scoop in there, pal? Come on. I mean, G Fuel's made, maybe kiwi mango was too kiwi flavored. I Zitch juice. I'm not sure if I tried that, but I didn't hear good reviews. But there's some people that believe that G Fuel's never made a bad mango.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it. If Shock can push to have them create a flavor with no dyes, that whole company could do so much better, especially on a health level of just removing dyes from their formula.
Oh, I agree, Boognest. I don't think I call it mango lemonade. To me, I call it mango lemon zest. Like maybe you could call it mango lemon. Shock's mango lemon.
Sure.
Either way, I think it's good. I think it's a very good mango. I don't think it's too candied. I don't think it is too ripe or not ripe. I don't think it's too sweet or too tart. I just think that the combination hits the right notes. And occasionally, if you want it a little bit more powerful, you just add a little bit more powder on it and bring it home. Give it a good shake. But if anyone's going to say that somebody's name is more important than the flavor itself, I mean, how are you going to say that about Shock and not say it about PewDiePie? Because listen, I've had mango citrus, unsure, Boog, because I think some people, when you say citrus, they want a very strong citrus note, and I just don't think the citrus in there or the lemon is that strong.
Plus,
but
citrus can be kind of vague too.
I mean, I've heard of, if you remember, the Maw Arctic Howl, they said it's a citrus flavor. I thought it was a lemonade. Turns out it was a grapefruit. So when people say citrus, that could mean anything. It could be lemon lime. It could be grapefruit. It could be orange. It could be this and orange. Citrus is a very vague and overused term. So I'm glad that it wasn't called that. But yes, we could say all day that the PewDiePie flavor is overrated. I've owned 2 tubs, and maybe it's because I wanted a Tetris Wampa Fruit Battle Juice or Black on Blackberry instead of the tart PewDiePie, but I was glad when that tub was finished. I was glad. That sound about right?
I mean, fair enough to me.
Let's see what else we got on my notes here. Beware of the notepad.
So to continue on with last week's episode,
what do you got?
Last week we hit on the head, the past 2 weeks actually, because this has been a bunch of political money, it's been a bunch of political BS, and it's been so many things, but we still have to cover the topic because it's still a big energy brand that's making headlines. So last week we talked more about Prime and the FDA FDA, even though they haven't been sent anything, and politicians are supposed to be going after them, and then them having to be recalled in Canada for the amount of caffeine that they have. Well, Prime is releasing cans in Canada now, weeks shortly after, that are going to be 140 milligrams to be within Canada's limits.
So I think that is a smart business move. So here's now the debate. Why so low on caffeine in comparison to what the regulation is? I know that if we go by G Fuel in their cans, now I have no idea what G Fuel's doing with their cans, and I could argue how, they want to promote their cans, but they only want to promote and sample 4 flavors and not the other flavors, such as the Spider-Man cans at the time, such as Tetris, such as other flavors. Hell, even Sage Mode. It was, hey, you have PewDiePie, Chug Rug. Yeah, PewDiePie, Chug Rug, Peach Rings, which that is the best can out of the bunch. And then it was Rainbow Sherbet, which I believe that can's not being made anymore. Or it's on its way out, one of the two. Imagine if they were promoting, active things going on, like the Venom and Carnage cans at the time, the Tetris can, other stuff. But instead, they went from, hey, we got this, hey, we're exclusive here. And now it seems to all just died down. Is it because they're trying to switch to a 140 milligram formula and people are going back and forth about it? Something's odd. No one's been up to date about it either.
I don't know on their front, but at least on Prime's front, it makes sense because 140 is easily within the country of Canada's limits, and I think it also puts them in a very safe place to where if they ever go to sell a can in another far country like Europe, Asia, whatever there may be, I don't know their caffeine standards and or regulations, but they may have similar regulations to Canada. So if that is the case, they already have a 140 formula, a 140 can that they can start like selling in other countries. Like, I don't know what it is in the UK, but it may be in perfect regulation within limits of selling it in the UK.
Let's see if Google could give me a ground ball here. Caffeine consumption by country.
Well, just caffeine regulation in UK.
You must label drinks that contain more than 150 milligrams per liter of caffeine with the words high caffeine content, not recommended for children or pregnant or breastfeeding women. So this is gov.uk. Here it is. Caffeine. Quote, you must label drinks that contain more than 150 milligrams per liter of caffeine with the words high caffeine content, not recommended for children or pregnant or breastfeeding women. This also applies to the concentrated or dried drinks that will contain more than 150 milligrams per liter of caffeine when constituted. It does not apply to tea and coffee drinks if tea or coffee are in the name of the food. Politics. The pain. Where caffeine has been added to a food product other than a drink for a psychological purpose, you must put the words contains caffeine, not recommended for children or pregnant women on the label. You must put these warnings in the same field of vision as the name of the food and include the caffeine content in milligrams per 100 grams or per 100 milliliters in brackets after the warning. Okay, so the fact that it's not on teas and coffees, but energy drinks.
It's also interesting because the UK limits sales of caffeine to age. So if you're 16 younger or 16 under, you cannot purchase caffeine.
Could you imagine how it would be like? Like, imagine a Dollar Tree or a gas station just being like, hey, buddy, you got ID? That bang you want in the corner of the store, I need to see some ID. I need to scan it.
I very much imagine, because I would not be surprised if that eventually came to the States.
It's starting to become that. We're actually weighing that. And it sucks because people hate being at the cashier counter as much as it is. Is there a chance that, humor me, is there a chance that this is a political, again, conspiracy theory? Get out your aluminum foil hats, everybody. Is this a conspiracy theory to get rid of automation cashiers?
No, I thought you were going.
That's what somebody told me, is in like, hey, instead of, well, think about it, right? The reason I say that is because now I'm not sure what states this is legal in, right? But let's say we go with tobacco and alcohol, right? There isn't a time where it just goes, hey, honey, just scan your ID right there. And you just go, okay. You don't see the picture, you just scan the back out of it and it just goes, yes. Are they going to play back the scan and look at the face of the customer? They're not going to do that for every purchase.
I don't know, but if somebody told you that's the whole reason why they're doing this is to stop AI or automation and cashiering, look, I get.
I got bridge to sell them in Jersey. I know.
I can be deep. I understand people can be deep in conspiracy theories, but my brother in Christ, that is one way out in left field beyond anything possibly reasonable.
To my good buddy Alan, listen, dude, you're 6'3", I'm 5'7". This short man is telling me you're reaching. Sorry, bro. I care about you, but you're reaching, bro. To be fair, though, I honestly get what he's referring to. As far as it eliminating like automatic cashiers and all that, I still think we're going to get that to a point. But again, if we're going to go by, if this is going to be like what Eli Jens said on this show, the new generation cigarettes, where granted you could be 18, but you're going to have to scan ID. I mean, this is going to have to be interesting because now we're going to go in technology where it's going to be like, does it match the face? Access denied, access denied. So also just got the notification for this, and thank you, Bri. So even though we're not a fan of this man, but I believe this is the virus saying Shiny Splash cans are now available at an FYE store near you. And I think FYE's selling Rasengan and Attack on Titan collector's boxes. The only stretch I have is they sell G Fuel cans for $5 a pop. I think that's a stretch. To try it one time, fine. But I'm not going to go there and stock up. I mean, a 4-pack is $20. Come on.
Ridiculous.
Oh, completely. Do I think that their drinks are overpriced there? Yes. Like I said, $4. I think you're okay because there's a lot of energy drinks at gas stations and such that go for $4. $5. You're chronically breaking my balls. If you're going to do that, I kindly ask you to return them properly.
Yeah.
I just saw a look on your face, just no words.
Just disappointment, man. Just disappointment.
What you think? You think it's corruption or what?
Not just disappointed they charge that much for a can. Disappointing anybody that goes and pays that much for a can when you can get it cheap, regardless of the brand.
Yes, absolutely so.
Major last minute topics, Mr. Relly.
Last minute major topics. So Bri and Armad Tai were actually discussing how I'm not sure if this should be on the record, but conspiracy behind Redcon 1 and its founder. Apparently it was with illegal supplements or something. Apparently it was covered 2022, but never came to our attention.
I mean, we don't really cover pre-workout stuff a ton.
Well, I mean, my thought is, I thought would Redcon 1 can count as an energy drink or a pre-workout?
Wait, what?
Would the Redcon 1 can count as more of a pre-workout in your opinion?
It depends on the formula. It depends on how it is. It can definitely be pre-workout in a can.
Understood. We'll look more into that. Also, I actually found a can called Gym Weed.
Yep. I saw that.
You saw? Did you see how it had apparently lion's mane extract in it?
I didn't look into it, but I did see the picture of it.
So it says here, lion's mane extract ratio 8-1. Now, that alarms me because it sounds like you're putting hair in my shit. Let's see. 2 words I can't even pronounce and fruitin body. But in my opinion, it was knockoff C4, the knockoff C4 Skittles. And the flavor was called Candy Shop. Dude, I'm sorry. If you're going to open up a candy shop flavored can, I need to see 50 Cent's name on it. I'm sorry. I'm born in 94. If you're telling me you've never heard a hatchback Civic blasting candy shop down the street with his windows down, you do not remember this time period. Correct me if am I wrong, Teach? You know what I'm talking about.
So you lost me at trying to connect 50 Cent and energy drinks, but with the whole candy shop.
To be fair, he was with Vitamin Water well before he
was?
went broke. Yes, he was. He was actually with Vitamin Water. I think he actually founded Vitamin Water, and he sold it for a huge, and I mean huge, chunk of change. The story on that, now again, we'll look into the Redcon 1 story, Bry, and I know Ty and Bry were, I was trying to go to bed and they were researching it last night, and I'm like, I am mortified.
I mean, we'll look and see if it's anything worth covering, because we don't want to be pre-workout entirely based.
That part I agree, simply because the number one thing that we've been asked to cover that isn't in our forte was the lick cans from GMC. What we've considered them as pre-workout, and we've ruled them out.
Yep.
So it says right here, this is afrotech.com, 50 Cent made an estimated $100 million from his Vitamin Water deal, and it paved the way for artists like Flo Rida. So if you know, Flo Rida was the big ambassador for Celsius. There was a lawsuit involved. I think it was like 70 some odd million dollars it was worth after everything. What initiated as a test trial run with Vitamin Water during a 2004 Reebok commercial led 50 Cent to a 10% stake in his Formula 50 brand. Let's see. Not only did he make a reported $100 million, but many of 50's fellow hip-hop superstars were inspired by his business model in the years to come. Here it is. Flo Rida's recent win walked away $82 million richer thanks to a lawsuit he won with Celsius. He was seeking $30,000 in damages because of a contract failed to uphold in 2014. It was a 2014 contract. You got to admit, though, if $30,000 turns into $82 million, you straight up fumbled the bag. That is one of the biggest losses in history if you go by percentage. I'm not sure if anything else energy drink related could cover that. That's a giant L. Fat L. So let's see. If I had to search up a Redcan 1 formula, I wonder what it has in it. Go by pre-workout ingredients.
I'm sure it's probably more.
Although, if you are at a GNC sometime, pick up the Sour Peach Rings. I think that'd be up your alley. Orange Creamsicle. I've tried it. Me, I'm going to like my orange vibe better. The Vice City, I'll take Miami Nights instead. The Baja, very coconut forward. I don't think you'll like that. A purple gummy bear, I've heard mixed reviews. I stayed away from it.
So, not to get entirely into this, because we're basically at the end of the show, but what's the gist of the whole thing with Redcon? Because they at base are a pre-workout company, so that's why we don't really pay attention to them. But like looking at the can, there's nothing technically over the top that would make it considerably a pre-workout over just a general energy can.
So this is probably this is 10:35 at night. I'm in bed with the covers over me. Let's see.
What's the TLDR?
What was that?
What's the TLDR?
TLDR?
Too long, didn't read.
Yes. Aaron Singerman, the founder of Redcon One Supplements, was sentenced to 54 months in prison for the crime of conspiring to sell illegal anabolic steroids and other products advertised as dietary supplements that were unlawful under U.S. federal law. Now, my first thought was when I think of antibiotic steroids, you know what the first thing I think of, and I don't want to say it out loud, but it refers to male anatomy.
Okay, so him doing that probably doesn't have any actual relation to the red wine cans. Probably what the actual gist is here, and we will end on this because we're not a pre-workout show, is that he was probably selling hydrogenings or andro products or in some way T boosters, and they were probably coming back false.
So do you think it was an honest mistake?
I don't know. I can't say, and I don't have a place to comment on it because that's not what we cover. But if that's the case, that has no relation to their energy cans.
And that is why I thought you would be the person to ask. And thank you for that, because I was legitimately curious and thinking, what kind of ingredient would go into the can versus their powder pre-workout formula?
That's not even something that'd be in the pre-workout. I mean, he could, but I'm thinking probably what it actually is they were selling T boosters, testosterone boosters.
Well, I'm glad that two regulars in our audience were able to get a little bit of closure on that, and they might just end up trying to feed into it because they're that curious and they're already that deep into it. But to us, well, conspiracy or not, what's done is done. He'll perfect his formula sometime. Just as, maybe not as fast as Logan Paul and Prime did, but I do gotta admit, though, that was probably record setting. Because at the end of the day, right, now that G Fuel had their product recalled in Canada, there hasn't been much advertisement in cans outside of this shiny splash with A Drive. Which makes me wonder what's next. Is G Fuel going to be very limited with cans? Because it seems like they're not abandoning the project, but it's really hard to read their business idea like it was for us 2 years ago.
Who knows? But then again, I don't really pay too much attention to them anymore.
I do on a limited scale. And a lot of times it's just on lunch break, just procedure once in a while. You check it like the stock market. You check it once a day and you leave it alone.
And that's probably a good spot to end episode 87. Wow, it's weird to say we're already at 87.
Wow. Kind of lost for words, man. But I just kind of love this, and I like seeing where this is going. I just love seeing the regular people that have been coming in every week. Love dishing the dirt with others. Love making these topics. Love mentioning clarity on ideas and things to come up with, and it's encouraged us to do a little bit of such. And for everybody out there, I cannot stress enough, we just want to say we appreciate you, and tell others that are in your inner circle that you appreciate them as well, because you don't know what you got until it's gone. But I'm just going to be very swift on the outro today. So, Caden, just to let you know, I want to say now, I know Glytch teaches affiliated and partnered with Glytch. Me personally, flavor-wise, there are some flavors that I think could be better somewhere else. Formula-wise, I do enjoy the formula, and my regular is crack sauce. If you go by crack sauce, and if you go by either Cherry Bomb or Aim Assist, you cannot go wrong with those flavors. Agreed, Teach?
Yep. I like how he asked about the formula, though, and you start going into flavors.
Well, that's what I'm. To be fair, do I think that there's some flavors that are better in our energy drinks? Well, yes. Formula, though, I think as far as what works, to me in powder form, I think Glytch is probably the most effective.
Put it simply.
At this date, yes.
Do you hate dyes in your supplements? If you answered yes, look at Glytch. Do you hate melt reduction in your energy supplements? If you say yes, look at Glytch. Imagine having a brand that tastes that good, has no melt reduction and or dyes.
No fillers, no dyes, no gimmicks. So Glytch has a full vote of confidence for me, and that is the best way to put it. So with that said, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for having us be your co-hosts and cafe daddies of Monday night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and like I said, any questions, topics, concerns, hot takes, cold takes, and etc., leave a comment or hit us up on Twitter. Tag us, DM us, do what you got to do. Have a good night, everybody. Love you all.